Now, the resource load activities add crews, equipment, hours, and major materials, long lead items to activities. To prepare resource and manpower histograms and SCAR for long lead items, add procurement activities with lead times and link it to installation activities. So what we are doing for this, this is particularly important. This is why we are adding procurement activities with the lead items. It should be linked to the installation activities. Otherwise, we'll get illogical sequencing. Then add calendars and worksheets. Create site calendars, resource calendars, and non-working days. We require this one to get a correct program. Now we must include quality testing and safety task. Why? Because add ITP inspection activities, fitness test and the site acceptance period, MCC backgrounds. These are critical to avoid hidden float consumption. Yes, we can see that there is a float available, but when come to the actual scenario, what will happen? This this activity should be approved. For that, we need to do some test which should be hidden, which is hidden from the initial view or first view. So first sight. So we must add this testing and testing time periods to be provided. Insert risk response activities and contingency. From the risk register, mitigation prevention activities, the document any contingency plot or cost contingency as scheduled narrative. So there is a one case scenario. Suppose we are doing some excavation or backfilling. We need to we are giving some time for example we need two help and one JCB to do the backfilling and the compaction, water rolling, etc. And after that we need to do the FDD test also. And if that test is not added into the activity, what will happen? It will it should be a separate activity for testing. Otherwise, what will happen? It will create a false float. So that is very important. But the problem is that most of the planners have failed to do so. Include safety briefing, temporary work checks as a separate activities, as if they affect the start finish of the critical work. Okay. Number 9. Insert work response activities and contingency. From the risk register, include mitigation prevention activities. That is additional pump, dewatering pumps, contingency sequencing. Any document any contingency float or cost contingency as scheduled narrative. Don't hide a contingency by padding durations. So what is this sentence? So here the risk response activities and contingency. We are mentioning this contingency sequencing. What is it actually? So contingency sequencing. So contingency is a time or budget reserve into the project construction schedule to account for unforeseen events that can cause delays. It's a crucial element of contingency planning, which includes identifying the assessing risk. Key components of this one is risk identification and assessment. First step is to through the thoroughly analyzing the project to pinpoint the possible potential risks like environmental hazards, design conflicts, material shortage, or labor issues. Once risks are identified, a buffer is established in the schedule. Buffer means is this buffer is called the schedule contingency. There is another what is called budget contingency to absorb impact of these potential issues. Risk response plan. This is the plan how contingency will be used. It may involve implementing mitigation strategies, acquiring um, additional resources, or adjusting the schedule or scope. How it applies to sequencing. Time buffer. Scheduled contingency acts as a time buffer, allowing the unexpected delays without jeopardizing the whole project timeline. Resource management. It ensures funds are available for the crucial mitigation efforts to cover the increased cost. To ensure that unexpected events do not cause delays due to lack of resources. Adaptability. Having a contingency project can be more confidently navigate unforeseen circumstances, allowing the team to maintain momentum or adapt to the changing situations. Benefits of contingency sequencing maintains a project momentum, prevents the issues from halting project progress, ensuring tasks can continue even when surprises arise. Controls budget, prevents cost overruns by providing funds for the unexpected expenses, keeping the project within the allocated budget. The reduces risk. Um, so it provides a safety net to manage effectively and turning the potential problems into. So how we can do this contingency sequencing? So this it's we are doing using global change for this one. For that we are going to enterprise, then user defined fields, and here we are put to new user defined fields, that is contingency. Okay, we will continue. So this contingency, what we are they are in this video, it is applying by a global change global change function. For that, what they have done in the tools, there is global change, and like this video we already done. Okay, so that is contingency planning. It is a it's a planning for unforeseen delays or items. That's it. So, like we said before, this from the risk register, we must include mitigation preventive activities as a for the contingency sequencing and document any contingency float or post contingency as schedule narrative, and don't hide contingency by padding durations. This will be discussed. So, don't hide contingency by padding duration is a principle. It discourages inflating task timelines to cover these uncertainties without explicitly identifying them as reserves. Instead, an extra time for risk or and should be called as a contingency reserve, made transparent and justified to the stakeholders. Padding the schedule is considered as unethical, dishonest practice. It obfuscates uncertainty and lead to poor project outcomes, whereas clearly defined contingency reserves increase likelihood of project success and stakeholder trust. Why it is harmful? Padding estimates without clear justification to make the project look successful is a dishonest way to avoid accountability for risk. If you pad the duration, you are hiding the true uncertainty in the estimate. It is make it harder to manage the project risk effectively. Erodes trust. It can destroy the reputation of the project team and the company by fostering an environment where the estimates are not trustworthy and seen as inflated. Poor decision making can make project management cut back on identified contingency reserve, believing that they are just padding, when in reality they are reducing the buffer needed for unexpected tasks. Right approach is contingency reserves. The transparency, it clearly identifies label any additional time or cost as contingency reserve. Justification, base contingency or identified task assumptions and uncertainties, rather than simply adding a buffer without reason. Risk management, contingency reserve exists to offer uncertainty and reduces the likelihood of cost. Uh, and stakeholder, if you make a need for contingency reserve clear and explain the risk it covers, management is more likely to approve it as it demonstrates the commitment for project success and transparency. So these contingencies, there is no inbuilt contingency reserve field in Primavera, but we can use such model and manage contingency in Primavera by incorporating it into activities as a buffer using global change or as a special activity linked to the identified risk. So these are the steps. We can use it as a contingency reserve as an item in activity item in the Primavera by building it into the activity's estimated duration cost, or by adding dedicated contingency activity known as unhatched provider. Primavera's global change tool can facilitate the process by applying a risk factors to the task durations. So this is how it is approached. A dedicated contingency activity, create a specific activity represent the contingency reserve, assign the risk information to this activity, adjust the duration cost will be used to duration and cost of this activity can be used to add contingency to the project, or use global change in physics professional use a global change tool to apply a risk factor to the task duration to adjust it, incorporating a contingency reserve to the task um, task schedule. In this, so we need to study what is this global change actually. To register and risk register and analysis more complex, and you can use risk register and analyze the risk and quantify their potential impact. Apply to work package or WBS. Contingency risk can also apply to WBS or a project level, not just the activity level. Manage non-unknowns. It is a particularly useful for addressing non-unknown risk where the nature of risk is known, but the exact impact or cost of its response is not. So, what is this global change in P6 program? So, what is global change? So, global change is a powerful tool for making simultaneous large-scale modification to a project data, including activities, resource assessments, and the project expenses. It functions similarly to a find and replace feature in our Excel or Word, allowing to define criteria for which data to change and specific operations to perform. We can update the duration, assign resources, modify user-defined fields based on conditions, saving significant time for repetitive tasks. So how we are using it? From the main menu, select the tools, global change. Create a then create a so it's a there is a demonstration from 10.6. First figure 1. First to activate a global change feature, select tools global change from the main drop menu. In the global change dialog, select the new, this one, to create a new computation. For our example, in the type in the name double groundman and lineman, and select the modify, this one. This brings up a global change dialog. In the select subject area, uh, select the activity resources assignments, etc. And notice in the period the breakout of modify global change dialog, which is if then else. If then else. This may interpret the same way if define the condition is true, then if then else. Uh, then make a following computational adjustments, or else make this other computational adjustment. Our demonstration use only if then part of the relationship. In our demonstration, we need to multiply budgeted units per time of all line by a factor of 2. So in our demonstration, we want to multiply budgeted units of all lineman and groundman resources by a factor of 2. It will double the daily effort of these resources on all associated activities. To begin our computation definition, we will start with if this one, and set the parameter to any of the following. So then it will place an or. If we are setting to any of the following, it will place or between the associated statements here. So first parameter is resource ID equals to lineman, and the next line is begin with or, and parameter is resource ID name equals groundman to groundman. Now
If either of these conditional statements is true, the global change will perform the following associated computation. That is, click the then computation statement here and add button. Add button here. What will happen? The parameter of the budget, set the parameter budgeted units per time. This equivalency equals O equals on the other side of the equation, set parameter to uh, budgeted units per time. Then operator is a multiplication and the parameter is 2. It will double when you enter value 2. The feature adds the identifier h by h, making it 2h by h. It will simply double the resources. Click OK and highlight your uh, global change statement. Now parameter is set. Now our global change name is double groundman admin. It will come as a apply changes here, all users and apply change. This generates a report of computation's effect on each activity and resource that matches the conditional statement. Review the report. If the computers look correct, click the commit changes button in the lower right corner of the global change report dialog. Commit changes. Activity ID is old is resource ID field old value 20, new value will be 40 hours per day. So we may also save the change report as a text file on the operating system. So in summary, so subject area of global changes are activities, activity resources, assignments, and the project expenses. Logic of modify global change feature follows the if then else logic available. So this demonstrate in this it is flexible and it may serve many useful functions that require a familiarity in order to utilize. Global change is very useful when the primavera P6 will not permit you to import certain fields such as expected finish date. Trick is here to create a UDF and make the format of the field same as the P6 field that the excell import will not let you change. We then can populate UDF in Excel and import it to the primavera, then run a global change to set the P6 field equal to UDF. So what is UDF in primavera? So now UDF in primavera. So UDF in Excel and import it in the primavera. That one. UDF stands for user-defined function, a custom formula written in VBA to perform calculations in Excel, not built into the Excel. They are custom functions, often written in Visual Basic for applications, that we create in Excel in order to perform calculations beyond the scope of Excel's built-in formula. Like we can write a specific financial figures, process complex text strings, or automate tasks within your spreadsheet. They are integral part of the Excel's data manipulation capabilities. This UDF in Primavera are custom fields added to the project database. UDF in Excel is a user-defined fields. So create a UDF in P6. What we'll do first, create user-defined fields in our Primavera P6 database with the desired names and data types. Export an Excel SX template with this new UDF to this Excel file. Update Excel file, open exported Excel file or populate the UDF columns with your project data. Import it back using import feature into the then we apply the new data including your UDFs to the project. So it is a visual basic in applications feature in Excel, and it is applied how it is applied to the primavera. It is a complicated one, we'll discuss later. Like, so we discussed the insert response activities and contingency. Now we'll discuss run schedule analysis, validation, and prepare 3 items 10, 11, and 12. So, 10 step is run schedule analysis. Then that is run critical path method. Identify the critical and near critical paths. Check for total and free float distribution. Ensure float is not artificially assigned to a minor works. Schedule dynamics. Use schedule dynamics diagnostics to detect the logic issues, dangling activities, open ends, negative lags, long lags, and constraints. That is now the step validate and optimize resource leveling without breaking logic. Level resources to resolve the peaks but do not change the critical logic to hide delays. The leveling changes the critical path, re-explain the implications and obtain approvals. Run a couple of acceleration scenarios if needed and document cost implications. If the employer requests acceleration. So this sentence we need to be explained. Okay, now we will discuss resource smoothing. So what is it? It's a technique that adjusts non-critical activities within their float to balance the workload. So unlike the standard resource leveling, resource smoothing ensures project overall duration and critical path remains unchanged. So there are 5 steps for doing this resource smoothing. So the steps for implementing the resource smoothing. First, identify the non-critical path method to identify longest tickets activities that have zero float and cannot be delayed. Then second step is identify the resource overall allocations. Analyze resource assignment using a resource term to visualize the identified periods when a demand for a particular resource exceeds its availability and creating the peaks in the workload. Then locate a non-critical task with float. For the resource peak, identify which overallocated tasks are non-critical, and these non-critical activities tasks have a scheduling flexibility, can be moved without delaying the project completion. Reschedule the non-critical paths. Shift the start and finish dates within their float period to alleviate the resource peak. For example, you can move a non-critical path from high demand to a day to a long demand day. Re-evaluate and iterate. After making adjustment, check the resource histogram again. We may need to repeat the process until the resource demands are balanced as possible while staying within the project timeline. Suppose techniques for adjusting non-critical paths. Postpone a start of non-critical activity to move it to resource requires out of the peak period. Break a non-critical task into segments, delaying the parts of which is of less precise time. Adjust the task assignments, reallocate the non-critical work to another available resources with the necessary skills. While in contrast to the resource leveling, when the resource leveling protects the project's critical path, resource leveling is used when the deadlines are flexible. If the overall cannot be resolved by moving only the non-critical paths, resource leveling may be recurring. This technique can extend the project time to create more realistic schedule and prevent them team burnout. Okay. So it is prepare deliverables and baseline packet. Because that will summarize this one. Resource leveling without breaking logic. Resources to resolve level resources to resolve peak, but do not change the critical logic to high delays. That's why we are using resource smoothing. If leveling changes the critical path, explain the implications and obtain approvals. Run a couple of acceleration scenarios if needed and document cost implications. Now, so we must not similarly that we will not change the critical path during resource leveling. That's what it is telling. Now, prepare deliverables and baseline package. Deliver the following pack, then we organize the primavera basic baseline, exercise plus read only PDF of Gantt chart, baseline narratives, assumptions, constraints, major risk, resource plan, key logic explanations, S-curves. S-curves are manpower histogram, equipment histogram, procurement schedule with long lead items, critical path report, list of near clear activities, interface metrics with other contractors, authorities, milestone acceptance form for employer engineer sign off. So we have a milestone acceptance is there and the format is there. So in the Transco volume 1 of 5, page 337, we have key dates. Effective date shall be the letter of our LOA date. This date of commencement of mobilization shall be deemed to be effective date. Means letter of award date is the date of start of commencement. Date of commencement of work shall be 30 days from effective days. Then mobilization is 30 days after that date of commencement will start. Date of completion of work shall be date of completion of and the provisional acceptance, and the issue of PAC, provisional acceptance certificate, shall be 24 months from the effective date. So effective date is both the LOA date and date of commencement of mobilization. Both are same. So date of completion of warranty period will be 24 months from the date of completion of works and the provisional certificate, that FAC. After the warranty period, this final acceptance certificate is issued. Site handing over. Handing over site to the contractor shall be arranged within 10 days from the effective date. This is for the client. Interim milestones. Contractor shall take note of the following interim milestones for design, procurement, construction and installation works. The provisional acceptance certificate and the completion of work shall not extend 24 months from the effective date. That is the agreement. First milestone is hydraulic study kick-off meeting with the contractor and approved hydraulic expert. From the effective date should be done within 3 months. Provision of facilities to the owner engineer completion is also 3 months. Geotechnical topographical survey completion also 3 months. Then approvals for facilities to be crossed by the pipeline as well as parallel routing or existing structure. Then relocation, roads, channels, water pipeline, etc. should be done within 4 months. Suppliers confirmation of order of pump units, VFDs, power transformers, surge vessels, pipes and fittings and valves are 5 months. Completion and availability of operation of a DN100 pipeline from tie-in TD2 to tie-in T3 and T4 for connection of existing suction header by 6 months. Suppliers conservation of order for remaining material is 10 months. Latest commencement of delivery of pipes and fittings except item number 6 is 12 months. Completion of hydraulic study will be 12 months. Completion of final design and unsteady state study is 15 months. Latest commencement of delivery of surge vessels onto site is 14 months. Completion of delivery of pipes, fitting, transformers, switchgear to the site aspect item number 6 shall be 14 months. ASOP study is 15 months. Latest commencement of delivery of main pumps, VFDs and power transformer to site is 15 months. Completion of foreign material delivered to site is 60 months. MCC is 20 months. Completion of testing, commissioning and initial run is 24 months. Completion of works issuance of PAC is 24 months. Yes. This is the key days and the milestones. It is required to be incorporated in the contract as per the contract. Now we will discuss a overall time schedule. So for overall time schedules, so the overall time schedule, it is in the form of a bar chart. That means our Gantt chart, everything is coming inside this one. The schedule provides only a detail to clearly indicate the following: mobilization period and activities, commencement of work, completion of work, delivery date to site of major items of plant, uh, order dates, delivery periods, delivery dates of major items, order dates, delivery periods and delivery dates of major equipment, clear and comprehensive activity breakdown, separate the activity breakdown for different work locations, identify the critical path, identify the subcontracted activity separately by individual subcontractor if any. And our bar chart shall highlight key days and critical activities, critical path activities include at least following and the same sequence as below. So this is a sequence. On a scheduled key days interim milestones that we discussed in the earlier segment. The following key days contract effective date, that is it is effective date is the date of mobilization, date of mobilization, date of commencement of work. It is 30 days after the effective days. It should be completed within 30 days. Completion of all contract work for PAC, that is 24 months from the effective date. The final complete date or the expiry of warranty period, that is FS, final assessment, that's also to be returned. It is 24 months after the warranty period. So design and material supply. Material proposals and material submittal approvals. Approvals including pipes, fittings, material purchasing and deliveries, highlighting all major items as above, detailed design calculations and drawing, concession drawing submittals, as-built drawings, documents and manuals, project record books. Then the concession. Concession there we have mobilization, handing over site facilities for owner engineer, site investigation, survey, concession of road work, site work, drainage, plumbing, if any, concession of pipelines including ROW preparation, right of way, trenching, pipe laying, crossing, refilling, reinstatement works. Okay, then pre-commissioning, commissioning and handing over. We have disinfection and hydro testing of pipes, trial operations, initial operations, acceptance testing, project handing over, that is provisional certificate, provisional acceptance certificate, and the warranty periods, final acceptance, FAC, final acceptance certificates. Then the contractor shall provide detailed invoicing schedule based on the materials delivery milestones and the progress measurements. And the schedule shall reflect the materials delivery in month. Accepted monthly invoice shall be calculated according to both materials and progress measurement. Value shall be reflected in the invoicing schedule. The invoicing shall be made on a monthly basis, shall meet the criteria specified in appendices for special conditions. That's the end of our overall time schedule.